It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Mindy Mcfann.
And this is It's Movie Time.
Yaha!
All right, let's pull something out of the bag here that most people haven't seen.
Mm-hmm. I hadn't.
And it's called Annihilation.
Yes,
My
it
goodness.
is.
You just listen to the title and you know you're into something.
Yeah, it's not going to be a happy movie.
No, Natalie Portman.
Mm-hmm. Love her.
And the director-writer is Alex Garland,
Mm-hmm.
who did a fave science fiction of mine, Ex Machina.
That is a good movie.
Oh,
I
that's
agree.
great, yeah.
I agree.
Min, just as a note, this has been hanging around since 2018.
Mm-hmm.
It's now on Netflix.
Right.
And my understanding is that they just didn't know what to do with it.
Really?
So they let it out for a while overseas, and then they gave it to Netflix.
Right.
And then finally Netflix got up the courage to show it.
Interesting.
Any reason, do you think? Can you?
Maybe timing. People weren't interested in seeing something so not positive, I guess. I mean, it doesn't get tied up with a little bow, and I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's something that's I don't know, a bit off-putting about it. I mean, the very title, but the idea, and yeah, I think it's a little more complicated than my fellow Americans like.
Right.
And so I think that's really that too.
Yeah.
So the whole aura of it. And sci-fi has to be hit just right. It has to be 2001, or I think that.
Well, I think it either has to disturb you down to the bone or have a happy ending, and that's all we want. We don't want any middle grounds.
No, we don't. So give the audience an idea of what this thing is about. Annihilation.
Well, something has taken over a plot of land. We don't know what it is, but it's something that the government is hiding, and there's one woman whose husband is in the military, and she's used to him going on forays where she doesn't know where he is. He does secret stuff, and he disappears for a year, and she thinks he's dead, and all of a sudden he shows up at home. And on the heels of him showing up is the, I guess, MPs or whoever come in and take him immediately. When
And he is
out of an ambulance,
played by one of my faves, Oscar
Yeah.
Isaac.
the chameleon.
Oh, he is so good.
He's just, there's something mysterious about that man because he just morphs.
He does. And I was reading somebody who said that he just makes so much out of such small roles.
Oh, absolutely.
Even to Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, when they initially show him, because my son and I always had this running joke because we can't barely recognize him in movies. And he comes to the door at the bedroom and I'm like, he's just standing there and I already know 1,000 things about the character. And he's barely, I don't even know if he spoke, but I was like, something's going on here, you know?
Yes, that's right. Well, there's something from outer space that hits this lighthouse. And I don't know if it's a beam or if it carries an alien or whatever it is. But right, they've been pursuing this, trying to figure out what it is for years. And everybody but Cain, the husband, has not returned. He has returned.
He has come back.
And he has come back, and not quite the same.
No, his internal organs are failing.
Oh my gosh,
That
yeah.
would make it different.
When she first sees him, he's distant and odd.
Well, and he just keeps, no matter what she asks him, he says, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even sure it was aliens. There was something,
Yeah.
you know?
And
I thought they left that a little bit ambiguous.
no, I think you're absolutely right. I think a lot of people consider this as all her interior decline. Because everything is from her point of view. I think
Right.
you're quite right.
Right.
That, and I interpreted it as being an alien visitation.
Right.
It was affecting things around there, but I see other people are looking at it as very internal on Lena's part, played by Portman.
I even looked at it as just that we will self-destruct
And that
if we
too.
don't take care of things.
Yes.
And that maybe that was some some internal war thing that caused that.
Yep, yep.
Um,
And other people looking at it as some kind of Darwinian theme,
mhm,
and the survival of the fittest,
right,
and we're not necessarily the fittest
yes.
to
Yes.
survive.
Well, because I thought one of when they said they picked these 5 people to be the next ones to go into the area,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all women. And I was like, is that just a coincidence? I wasn't sure exactly
Mindy, I'm
what that
so
was saying.
glad you brought that up, because I think it is, you don't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Have 5 women taking, and now they're all accomplished, and they all have particular jobs.
Yes,
That we got, but 5 women means something.
yes. And this isn't, I didn't have a sense that this was terribly futuristic. So,
Right.
and I hate to have to say that for 5 women to do something seems like something in the future. That is a horrifying thought that I just admitted, but that's just the way the world is now. So for that, there had to be meaning to that. And part of it I thought is because, I don't know, I don't think they were all in the military, because they were I don't know if they were scientists in the military. Did you feel like that was clear?
No, they weren't all in the military, even though they were dressed like that. They were,
And carrying machine guns.
and carrying machine guns, but they weren't.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me see. As I look over at this,
I hope they had some training.
yeah, we know Jennifer Jason Leigh plays Dr. Ventress,
Yes.
and I think she's probably military.
Yeah.
Don't know if Gina Rodriguez playing Anya Thorensen is, or Tuva Novotny playing Cass Shepard, and even Tessa Thompson.
Yeah, I didn't know if they made that clear.
Yeah,
If they were or were not, because what I was trying to think is that maybe they had women, because men are so socialized in that pack mentality, you know, and to accept the military, and I think women are socialized more to go, wait a minute here, and not so much go along, and maybe that was so they would have more of a struggle and not work as a unit.
I think you're on to something. I think you're on a particular way of looking at the reason for the 5. I like that an awful lot.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, Mindy, because we open up when they are interrogating her,
Mm-hmm.
and there are men in hazmat suits,
Right,
and it looked like men just pouncing on her
yeah,
as a woman.
yeah,
And so that's why, and if you look at her husband, who's been debilitated by all of this,
Right.
he hasn't survived it well.
right,
I don't know, I think maybe you're right, even though Garland does not give it the answer to our question.
No.
It is intriguing to me, because this isn't a feminist film per se, but it could be.
yes. Yeah, well, I mean, it is in a very passive way. It's not Thelma and Louise where women are getting people back.
Right, good one.
This is just, we live in a world where it's still considered feminism. The thing is centered around women because it's still aberrant. There's the Russian film called Stalker that I think has.
Oh, I've heard that is,
And I don't know, I wanted to watch it before we did this. It's on Criterion Collection. And I wanted to watch it
Yes.
to see if they were all
Yes,
women.
yes.
And, yeah, so that would have given me some background. But yeah, I don't know if they were, I don't even know if they're saying anything.
Well, and I think that many critics would agree with you, that don't make a big deal of it. That's
Right.
just the way it is. Although it's a little bit futuristic, maybe.
Mhm.
And where women have an equal role, so there'd be 5 women as ordinarily there might be 5 men.
Yes,
I don't know, man. I just got a feeling. It's a statement when you see 5 women going on a very difficult mission.
yes,
And I think it's a statement. And then as I look everything that happens in the film, I think maybe I have some commentary, some feminist commentary. And then when I look at the men who open and close, they bookend the story,
Mhm.
right? In their
Mhm.
hazmat suits with their interrogation of her.
well, and you, to me, you bookend a man who's quote unquote weak in his appearance because he fell apart.
Right?
And then you bookend that with men in power who are holding power over the entire situation ultimately.
Yeah. During this trek, and it's a verdant beautiful place, don't you
Yes,
think?
yes,
Um,
because all the cells keep dividing.
Right, right. That's very neat, because they open up with her lecturing.
Mhm.
And it is Dr. Ventures is it Jennifer Jason Lee who's lecturing at the beginning?
Yeah.
Or is it Portman?
Oh,
She's
no,
a
it's
bio-
Natalie Portman.
Portman.
It was Natalie Portman, because she was explaining to the house, giving us the science behind cells dividing and things.
Yes.
I loved the shot at the beginning and the end that had the hands behind the water glass to show light refracting.
Oh, yes.
I
yes.
love that, because refracting becomes a big theme throughout the movie.
In what way? Yeah, how do you figure that?
Well, they talk, I don't know if this is made up, because I don't know enough about the science, but they talk about what is happening in this section that they're crawling around is that cells are dividing over and over and over again. And somehow it's getting refracted. It's the reason they can't do communication outside of this area is because the communication person says it's all being refracted back. So your satellite beam or whatever you call it isn't going out of this, it's just staying in it. And it's the same with all the growth and everything, that everything is kind of consuming itself because it's getting bounced back. And they have these two shots at the beginning and at the end of a glass with a hand behind it.
Mhm.
And as we all know, like when you put a pencil in a glass of water, that it looks bent because the light's refracted. And somehow this refraction is what is creating this weirdo situation where, you know, a bear mutates into this crazy monster that has eaten somebody.
All right, let's hold on to that.
Yeah, yeah.
And let's make our audience wait to go to our podcast.
Woo!
our
Hang in there.
Back Talk podcast. They have to go to WCBE and look at that. And otherwise, what would you say? How would you advise our audience for looking at it? Now, they can look at it in their home.
Sure.
So what would you advise?
It's fun. I mean, it's a fun sci-fi thriller. It's not too scary, but it is a thriller. So yeah, watch it. It's good.
On Netflix.
Yes.